topic was about the family, and we used the story of the wedding at Cana, and Mama Mary's good example as a way of responding better to our families, no? So if you know the story of the wedding at Cana, nagkulang ng alak, diba? Kulang ng alak, and Mary, who was a guest in that wedding, she didn't just stand around doing nothing, diba? She knew what the problem was, and during the time of Jesus, wine was a symbol of abundance, wealth, success, fruitfulness. And so when you run out of wine at the wedding, parang nakakahiya, na parang you don't have, hindi ka prepared, or you're not capable of providing, for all your guests, It's a sign of, as I said, abundance. And so Mary, being a guest, and a friend of the couple and the family of the marrying couple, she stood up and she went to Jesus, right? And she said something to the effect na, "Son, there's a problem here. They ran out of wine." And for those who know the passage, Jesus wasn't immediately like, "Sure, I'll help you." He's like, "Woman, woman, ma, it's not my time yet." Diba? It was his first, the wedding at Cana, the changing wine to water was his first miracle. He wasn't quite ready to reveal himself yet as God. Mary was still insistent. "Come on, son." No? I mean, ini-imagine ko na lang in 2024 speak, kung Pilipina si Mama Mary, diba? At Pilipino si Jesus. Parang, "Anak, sige na. Ano natin to? Kamag-anak natin to. Kaya, alam mo naman matagal na natin friends itong pamilyang to. Natin sila ipahiya. Isn't there something we can do?" Di ba? Ganyan. Yung salita ng isang ina, na parang, "Sige na, ganyan, huwag kang pakipot." Tulungan mo na sila. "Oh, you tell me. Do you need help from the servants?" Ganyan. "Just tell us what to do." And then Jesus performed this first miracle, right? But before that, Mary said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Focus on how Mary responded to all of that. So number one, she's very attentive. Diba? She was attentive to the needs of the people around her. She wasn't just a guest, just enjoying the food and didma. She was attentive, and she was a caring mother, concerned mother. So number one, are you attentive to the needs of your family, right? Have you been noticing that there is a lack somewhere, or there is a need somewhere? Second is that she went to Jesus, diba, immediately when there was a need, diba? Which shows us her full trust in her son. And not only is it Mary praying to her son and trusting her son, but I believe it was also communication. That there is a need, may nangyayari. She didn't just keep it to herself. She clearly communicated it to her son. There's a problem. Please help us. Which goes back to the family. How can you better respond to the family? It calls for open communication, right? You don't just keep a grudge or a problem to yourself. Even if, say, that person you're gonna talk to is part of the problem. Somehow you have to find a way to actually verbalize it in such a way that would be best for everybody. So it's not just Mary praying or trusting Jesus, but as a side note, Mary is also teaching us communication, diba? Diyan naman nagsisimula lahat mga away sa pamilya. Pag hindi ka nagsasalita, pag nag-asumera ka, pag hindi mo sinasabi, "What's wrong? How are you? Are you okay?" "Yeah, fine." Tapos, ayan na, nagsusnowball yung problema, right? So, prayer and communication. And then the third is that Mary acted. Diba, she acted. She tried to think of a way to make things better. And in connection to the first two, she didn't just sit there, waiting and doing nothing. And same, in the family, whatever your birth order or role is in your family, do you act? Is there an invitation to forgive someone? Is there an invitation to help in the kitchen? Is there an invitation to, check up on a family member you haven't talked to in 10 years? Act. Do something. As a fruit of that parang input, I invited the students to have sacred colloquy, sacred conversation with the same Jesus in that banquet, imagining that they are also a guest in the wedding. And Jesus calling these children and communicating with each of them in a personal level. I was able to gather from them their favorite lines from Jesus's conversation with them through a letter. So I invited them to write a letter. What letter? How would the letter of Jesus look like? The same Jesus in that banquet, who you are imagining talking to you right now, what is he saying to you, especially about your relationship with your family? So, these 6th graders were so kind enough to share with me their favorite line from each of their individual letters. Allow me to read some. Kasi, when I heard them share this in the big circle, syempre they had long letters, but I said, just highlight your favorite line from Jesus' love letter to you. I am really here, and I hear and answer every child's prayer. Some say that heaven is far away. You'll feel it close around you as you pray. Wow. Again, grade 6. Here's another one. Just hold on tighter because reality hurts. You're just growing up. Even though you can't see me, I'm always here for you, waiting. If you wonder what is keeping you going, it is me. No? This is the message he got, imagining God speaking to him. And this is the message, his favorite line from that conversation with the Lord. The child said, if you wonder what is keeping you going, it is me. Always be kind and loving to others, even if you don't have a good day. Nice, no? I'm sharing this because it's not just for children. I mean, how pure they are to have been able to receive these beautiful messages from God. Ang dami pa. Actually, ang dami. I am amazed on how much you made it in life. O, diba? Parang so many years of experience na. I see you in my eyes as a kid with great talent. I will protect your grandfather and your parents. I mean, the fact that there's mention of grandparents, parents, you can already tell, no? What matters to these children. When everything is quiet and they have settled down and all the dust settles to the bottom. And you get the opportunity to really hear their true selves, their heartbeats. Bumabalik at bumabalik sa pamilya. No? Learn to respect others. Because if you do good to them, they will do good to you. I will always protect you. Ito pa, my love for you will never change. My love for you will never change. Lalim nun na. For a 12-year-old to be able to pick up. And that was just like a 10-minute quiet time. Here's another. I know you have problems, but trust me, your Lord and God, and I will help you. Listen to my words and what I say to you attentively. So I guess this particular student was listening to that input about Mary's triple, her good example during the wedding at Cana scene, no, when she approached the Lord. To be able to feel the heartbeats of these children, that their spirituality, their faith life it's there, it's alive, and as adults, as the members of the smaller church, the domestic church, hopefully we'd be able to catch that, Kasi whenever you ask them to share, they're always pressured about making mommy and daddy proud through grades. They cry about the fact that they didn't make it to the honor roll, or they might not be as talented and as academically an achiever as an older sibling. And that's what they focus on in making the parents proud. Parang the children weren't born into the world to fill a need of the parents. Tipo, make me proud, diba, anak? Diba? I'm paying for this expensive tuition, make me proud. Yung ganon. Parang, and that's what I tend to hear most of the time, that they cry about the fact that they didn't do good enough. And that, parang they batter themselves by wanting to be number one, academically, because they want to hear from their parents, good job, I'm proud of you. But none of them would say, I want to be a good child of God. I want to be a good person. And this is my way of honoring my parents. No? Parang, don't hear that from the children. But when you read God's love letters to them, then hopefully it's made clear that their true identity, everybody's true identity, is not based on titles and positions and academic achievements and medals. And although nakaka-tempt, diba, as parents and as educators, na parang, ay, magaling yan, matalino yan, ay, magaling yan, marami achievements yan. Oo, nakaka-tempt na i-equate mo yung galing ng bata dun sa curriculum vitae niya, diba? Pero I guess what this activity is reminding us of is that our true worth and identity is not in what we do, but in whose child we are. Whose child we are. Who made us. Diba? That's our true worth. Kumbaga, who are we trying to please in our everyday actions and words? Hopefully, it's God. More than any human being, more than any worldly attachment we might have. But all of this is useless if at home it's the same national anthem. So how was school today? So did you get a 10 out of 10 in the quiz that we studied last night? If that's still the national anthem they get, all this won't stick. The family truly is the domestic church. The family is the first school, the nearest hospital. Sabi ni Pope Francis, I believe it was Pope Francis, or was it Pope John Paul II, who said that the family is the nearest hospital and it is a miniature church. And so even before, of course they are baptized in the church and all that, but the initiation and the socialization into the church, it will take a while. But it all begins in the household.